Good morning and welcome to another episode of Migrants Journey, a series that I'm making to archive migrant stories, migrant and international student stories who are here in Australia. You know, we often think that migrating is a dream come true for most, but the start is often not that great. There are a lot of struggles, and my objective here is to give a realistic picture of what happens here. So we have had three episodes already, a conversation with Karthik, Sauradip, and Reshma, and these have been received well by a lot of people. We are getting a lot of views from YouTube and LinkedIn. So thanks for all your support. That kind of pushes me to do more of these episodes. Please subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and if you're watching on LinkedIn, say hi, good morning. Let's keep this engaging so that the word spreads out there, and it makes me more happy in the end. So subscribe to my channel, and if you're watching live or the replay, please leave a comment so that we know you're watching. Today we have Jyoti with me. She's an accountant. She completed her master's here as an international student and has secured a role as an accountant over here. So let's hear it from her. Good morning, Jyoti. How are you?
Hi Vinesh, how are you?
I'm doing good. So, good morning and welcome to this episode. Thanks for your time today. So, who are you? What do you do right now? Straight to
Okay,
the question.
sure. So as you all know, my name is Jyoti Smita. So I'm a Master's of Professional Accounting graduate from RMIT University. So I landed here in Australia almost 2.5 years back. And after that, I had been looking for a job over here. And currently, I'm working with Aurora Group as an accounts payable officer. Looking back at my professional career, I have around 2 years experience back in India working with EY.
Mhm.
And yes, that's quite a lot of background about me.
Yeah. So let's go to the beginning.
Yeah.
What was your move to Australia like? I mean, I think as an international student, you don't really prepare much. You just jump in and roll with things. So, but
Yeah.
what preparations did you do, if at all any, and how were the first few months or first few weeks like for you over here?
Yep. So I came here to Australia on a very short notice. So I received my COE and my visa quite late.
Hmm.
I had to make decision within 5 days and had to move here in Australia. So
Oh,
definitely I had
that
no
that's
plannings.
crazy.
So definitely I had no plannings.
Yeah.
So when I landed here, I just knew three people. So I stayed with them. I tried to understand what it is like. So the first day I landed here in Australia, there was a car that was sent from RMIT to pick us up.
Hmm.
And I could not find that car
Oh,
because
really?
definitely my iPhone wasn't working and I did not have the networks over here. So that was a great struggle for me. And that's when I realized, okay, the game is on. So things have
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
and I need to get on the roll.
Yeah.
So right from that day, it has been a roller coaster ride. But
Mhm.
then I'm glad I took that decision then, and I'm happy for the decision, and there's no regrets.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yes,
that kind of tells me it wasn't such a smooth ride. You had a lot of struggles in that. So let's go into the struggles. I mean, this is particularly touching international students. I don't think international students think much before they come over here. It's a dream come true for everyone. I understand, but the reality is quite not what they expect. So let's touch on that. What's the reality like, or what was it like for you?
yes, definitely. When we were looking for courses and where to study, we never thought about the visa conditions.
Hmm.
What attracted us was like it was the only country who was letting you stay for 2 years and work after doing a 2 years of masters, and it was also letting you work while you are studying.
Hmm.
So that was the major attraction for us. But we never thought about the permanent residency visas, or no one ever actually told us about it.
Yeah.
So we never knew it. And we were more concentrated on the master's degree and from where we could get the best of the knowledge and education.
Hmm.
So that's one of the drawback that I feel. And I feel what I have to say for the international students is that if they are coming at this point of time to study here in Australia or anywhere in the country, any country, they should always come with a little bit of professional experience. It's very important
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, when you're looking for a job over here, you need to put something in your resume,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't put anything fake.
Yep.
So if you don't come with an experience, or if you don't have anything that is coming back from before your master's degree, it's really difficult, and it's a struggle,
Yeah.
and it just doubles up your struggle. That's
Yeah.
it.
But I
And
understand you had done you also did a couple of internships, I think. So do
yes,
internships help at all in that situation?
yes, I feel the internship did help me in seasoning myself to the workplace culture over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was a really good start, and to actually give me a little bit about local experience
Yep.
to understand, like in accounting, it is like the laws and the rules. You really need to know about the country and the laws of the country. The tax laws over here are quite different to that of India.
Yep.
So it was I felt that internship just added to my experience, and it was really helpful for me.
So if the laws and the tax laws over here are completely different, then does experience in another country really matter, or how does it matter?
So the experience that you get from the other country is something transferable. Maybe you don't know the laws or the
Yep.
rules, but what about the skills that you gather
Mm-hmm.
working in a team, or those are quite appreciated over here,
Mm-hmm.
and they are taken into acknowledgement. So it's really important that you can transfer those skills over here, and
Yep.
definitely it matters to person how you transfer those skills in your
Mm-hmm.
resume. But then it is something where you start with.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's get back to job search side of things. Now, when did you start looking for a job? I know university can be hectic there with a lot of assignments and stuff. So when did you start job searching, and what was your perspective of job search back then?
So initially, I was just looking at the graduate programs. I have been applying to the graduate programs ever since I landed here,
Hmm.
and thought it I would just get through with it
Yeah.
because that was in my timeline and in my dashboard. So,
Hmm.
but gradually with the situation, I understood it's really difficult for international students to clear a graduate program.
Hmm.
But it's not like it is impossible. There are students who are cracking graduate programs.
Why is it very hard, if I may ask?
Yeah, it's because of your visa condition. There
Okay.
are, if there, I had a Excel sheet of 100 companies
Hmm.
of graduate programs of who takes accountants and auditors and tax accountants. But then out of those 100, I could only sort out 25 of them who takes international students.
Okay.
And even if they take international students, there is a requirement for your English language test,
Hmm.
and every company has their own standards set for themselves.
Yeah.
So you need to check a lot of it, and you need to spend a lot of time doing a research on it.
Okay.
So because it's like there are many people in my friend circle who would just go and apply for it
Hmm.
because it's a graduate program, but I felt that was a wastage of time until and unless you don't meet the eligibility
Yeah.
criteria.
Okay.
Yes.
So
So
yeah, that was interesting. Some interesting insight. Yes, visa is a barrier, but like you said, it's not impossible. Just that
mhm.
it's a bit too hard, and you have to focus more on companies that actually entertain people. So that's key. How was your initial experience like? You started job searching, and what was your experience like? What did you have any bad experiences, or rather, I mean, I asked this question yesterday to Karthik, and he said there are no bad experiences; they're just learnings. So if it's that
Yeah.
way for you, what was your experience like when you started job search?
So after the graduate programs weren't quite a success in my case, so I started looking for smaller roles and different. I just changed my path and my directions,
Hmm.
and I started looking for different roles that I could fit in or my last experience could fit in.
Hmm.
That was important. Like if I'm having some experience, if I could sell it to them, that's more important rather than trying to find out something new at that point of time, because
Hmm.
at that point of time my necessity was to also have to get some local experience.
Yeah.
Yes. So I started a lot of networking almost a year back.
Hmm.
Um yes, I felt that was a drawback because on the first week of my university, that is known as the O week or the orientation week,
Hmm.
I did attend some events where every event talked about networking. And I would just come back home and tell my sister, what's this gaga about networking? I really don't understand.
Yeah.
It's just getting over my head.
Yeah.
And never understood the importance of it then.
Hmm.
It's after the first 6 months, after I adjusted to the whole system,
Hmm.
I realized how important that networking is.
Hmm.
Because all my friends who networked well or who had some connections over here had finally got a casual job at least.
Yep. Hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So that's when I understood how important networking is. And since that day, I have been networking.
Hmm.
But I have been actively looking for jobs since around November
Hmm.
last year. That's when I completed my exams and then
Hmm.
I started with it.
Okay.
And since then, I made sure like every week I at least meet two people, or if not, if I can't meet them for coffee, let me just call, have a chat with them on LinkedIn.
Excellent.
And I think that actually helped me a lot.
Hmm.
And I always write down after the conversation what I had a chat about.
Hmm.
And when I actually sit down for interviews now, I don't just really prepare for it. I
Yeah.
just go through those notes
Hmm.
and see what people gave me feedbacks and what they said. And these really help me in saying answers during my interviews.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can actually see that confidence in you. When I met, I think we met
Um,
December, I think, last year.
yeah.
Um, this wasn't the way you were talking, so I can see a lot of change in you already.
Thank you.
We met for the first time in the Crack Your First Job session, and I
Yeah.
think a month after that we met in person, and you were kind a bit distraught back then. I mean, things were not working the way it was. So um, just give a feel of how or what is it that makes or what is it that changes or how does it change your perspective when you talk to people? And I always say talking to people is a stress reliever. And
Mhm.
on that day when I met you, when I met you for lunch, I know that I saw a smile after we had a conversation compared to what it
Yes.
was before. So what was that conversation like, or what did attending networking events, not just me meeting anyone, what does it what change does that bring in you?
Yes, I felt it really motivates you. And the first thing first is in every networking event, I learned something new,
Hmm.
something, maybe a little bit, or maybe something that maybe I have never observed on.
Hmm.
But there's something always you learn.
Hmm.
And the best part, it's like I'm here all alone. I have my friends now, no doubt in that. But then in a situation like this, it's really nice to have like minded people.
Yeah.
So when you go to a networking event, you see like it's not you alone who is struggling. There are lots of other people who are on the same boat and
Hmm.
everyone is putting in their efforts. So it's okay, just go on, you can do it.
Absolutely.
And I felt it was no doubt it was a roller coaster ride, but the journey is worth remembering. I feel now when I sit back and I have a job in hand, maybe that's why I'm saying this proudly. But yeah, I am glad I went through that phase because it made me quite strong now,
Yeah.
and I feel more confident. I know about a lot more things that I knew 4 to 5 months back.
Absolutely. So I can totally connect to that. I mean, I always say I am what I am today because of the struggle that I went through. I mean, during my early days. So I love that people are getting realizing that the struggle will make you stronger in the future, and you are a real life example. So well done to you on taking that attitude out there. And now we met in November, I think, and then we met in December again. It took another three months to secure a role, I think, and you finally managed it in right time just before the shutdown and all this crazy stuff happened.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What worked for you over there?
So I was applying through all the counting roles, and gradually I was seeing the job board was getting quite silent,
Hmm.
and that was a very tense situation for me because my visa was also expiring,
Hmm.
and I applied for my new visa, and I thought like until unless I'm in a bridge visa, it's difficult. If I'm not getting a role to secure during my student visa or temporary graduate visa, what can I secure in a bridge visa? That
Mm,
was my biggest question in mind at that point of time. I applied through quite a lot of roles, and I felt like they did not actually really were on the market,
mhm,
because when I go and talk to the recruiter, they would say it's all taken. We are not hiring at the moment, and situations were just getting worse. And suddenly, one of my friends just turned up and said, "I think there's an opening in our office.
mhm,
Just go and check the job board once."
mhm,
So I did not go to Indeed. I went to the job board and saw, yes, there was an opening. And I was glad I did the networking in January,
mhm,
because I applied for the same role in January,
mhm.
and I was in touch with the recruiter till at that point of time. And since then, I was in touch with her consistently. And when I saw this role, I told her like I'm interested and I'm still open for opportunities. And I forwarded her the resume, and at the same time I applied through the system, and my friend also forwarded my resume to the manager.
Mm.
So it's how things pushed, and I felt uh, I it's really important that you don't network with a motive like at the first place to get a job, but you network to understand their culture and to know, like, every time I had a chat with the recruiter, it was never about the job roles that are open or if I could apply. The first thing that I had a chat with her was like what to get a feedback about my application.
Mm.
And then I realized, then she told me my application actually slipped through the system because they put a filter to the visa situation.
Oh,
So yes, that's how my application slipped through the system for the first time, and I had applied again from the company websites, because I've seen that Indeed usually have the visa status
mhm,
tick box, but sometimes it is not there in the company
mhm.
websites. So
That
you need to do a lot of trial and error
yeah,
methods over
that
here.
that's really good advice, and this is actual proof that how networking can overcome the obstacles like visa situations, local experience, and all that excuses which I usually name. So
Mm-hmm.
if you connect the right people, if you network well, all these obstacles are absolutely nothing. Thanks for sharing that golden advice. By the way,
Yeah.
for all our viewers, I'm not seeing much noise happening at LinkedIn. Only if you make noise, people will hear our stories, and I mean, people who are watching know how valuable these stories are. So please make some noise, say hi, hello, good morning. If you are not looking great, if you're feeling sleepy, just let us know so that we know that you're watching. Absolutely golden advice, by the way, Jyoti. And I like that you gave a real life example over there. So you've gone through this. You said, you're proud that you went through that as well, which is a good thing. For any new international students or current international students out there, what would your one advice be? You've seen what the common mistakes that they do are. I know there are tons and tons of mistakes, but what would be your one major advice to them?
Um, every time I went to meet someone, and if I come, because usually when I went in between the university timings,
Hmm.
I would then definitely come and join back my team meetings. And if my friends would ask, like, did you get something? It's not that I go and meet people to get something.
Yeah.
I go there to take their suggestion, to know about them. And there was a common question that has been asked by my friends, was that what do you go and talk about?
Mm,
What do you have to talk about with a person that you don't even know?
mm,
That's a common question among the international students that I've seen.
mm,
There are a lot to talk about. You have a lot to learn from the experience. And if you don't have anything to ask, just pick up one of the behavioral question and just ask them.
mm.
You get an answer and you
Yeah,
just get to prepare for it for your interview.
yeah,
So it should not always be a take situation, but it should be a give and take situation.
absolutely.
If you are going there and talking, you should definitely have something to give that person to.
Yeah, absolutely. So I
Yes.
actually came across a LinkedIn post today from Austin. He said, um, if you want 50 minutes of my time, show me something or make sure that you have given 50 minutes of your time to prove that relationship. So unless you give
Exactly.
some time, I'm not gonna give you some time, and that's well explained by you as well. So another thing that I like about you is I mean I do a lot of meetups. I attend a lot of events, but I remember you, after the CYFG session, you right after the session or during the lunch break, you just came down and had a conversation with me, asked a lot of questions. I remember that, there were, I think, like 40, 50 participants there. I don't remember all the faces, but I remember your face, and you followed that up with a one-on-one catch up, and that's how you keep in touch and make. I mean, you didn't ask for. I mean, I didn't have a job to offer, right? I mean,
Hmm.
but I could have that conversation, and you could get a lot of inputs on how to approach job search, and that is something that you've done well, and that is
Hmm.
the advice that I'd like to give to everyone as well. Now, you attended two of my meetups, I think, the CYFG one and the monthly one that I do. Now, something about myself. How did that help you, or why do you think people should attend that, and how do you think that mindset can change after these events?
So initially, when I attended the session, I thought I was the only person who was struggling in this world, and no one else was.
Yeah.
But then I realized, and I felt like those people who has a valid visa or visa situation is in a much better place.
Hmm.
But when I actually went to the CYFG session and saw so many people with the permanent residency visa and still struggling to get a job, that's when I realized that it's not the visa condition alone.
Hmm.
There's a lot of other factors that come into it. And I felt that session was very helpful to for international students who are new,
Hmm.
because they get to know from A to Z of everything of Australia, how the market is and everything. And regarding your meetup session, that was I was a big fan of
Thank you.
because of all the because the best part about that was about the storytelling process.
Hmm.
Yes, everyone comes and tells a story. So that's really nice. So everyone tells you that it is good. Everyone gives you the positive feedback. No one actually shows you deep inside how dark it is.
Yeah.
So it's only through these struggling stories that you understand how people are overcoming those fears and those struggles to get into what they want.
Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
touching that point. I mean, I
Yeah.
always rate that storytelling session as the core of my event. I mean,
Yeah.
everything else you can hear from every event. If you want to hear about LinkedIn or resume or whatever, there are tons of other webinars and events out there. But the storytelling session is my unique selling point, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that you absolutely on point on that. So thank you so much for sharing your story today, Jyoti. It was
Yeah.
absolutely fun. I'm sure our viewers had fun too. Although I'm not seeing much comments, I hope they haven't fallen asleep. I hope they'll watch the replay. Remember,
Yeah.
all these episodes. This is episode number 4. All the episodes are uploaded in my YouTube channel, and you can watch all the episodes there. And I'm booked out for the next 2 weeks, so many, many, many more episodes to come. As long as I have participants to share their story, I'll keep sharing your story. So thank you so much for your time today, Jyoti. Anything you'd like to share, or if people would like to connect to you on LinkedIn or anywhere else, or anything you'd
Yeah,
like to share?
sure. I would like people to come to me if they have anything that they want to share, or if I could be of any help,
Mhm.
or if I could share something with them. It's definitely the door is always open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all the viewers. I hope that was a good morning. I hope that was some energizing talk. I really loved it. I mean, the inputs that Jyoti gave, it was a bit different from our previous episodes. These were kind of specific inputs, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm sure not only international students and all the migrants will be it will be a huge help for everyone. Do watch this episode, and do watch all our previous and future episodes as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow.